Hello, Sacred Rebels. We are in day 8. This is Devi Mahagauri. And I'm curious if those of you that are staying on pace with this, how your Kali day went. Because she tends to come in with a bang. And I know for me, I am sending this video super late today because she worked me. And we are in a very interesting transition, actually, in the energy and working with the goddesses right now, because in taking this journey, this is very much the space of Kali Ma working with Mahagauri, which is today, in the dance of shedding of the darkness for the sake of moving into the light. And so Kali is, right, she's the mother of darkness, and she helps us see what we don't want to see. She helps us slay the parts of ourselves that are getting lost in itself, the ego, I would say like the unaligned ego, because we don't typically lose the ego fully in this experience, but we can make it our servant. And so the dance between Kali and Mahagauri is shedding all those parts and pieces that are getting in the way of our oneness, of our unity, that are making us feel separate. And Kali likes to come in and show us all those parts and pieces, and then if we're willing, we can use her guidance to shed them, to slay them, to move beyond them, for the sake of moving into our light, into our pure divinity. And so Mahagauri is the mother that brings us into the light. Another beautiful part of her is she carries the trident, which is that she clears up and handles our karma from the past, the present, and the future. And part of that handling means we must be willing to surrender it. And I think for me, like that's part of this journey that I'm seeing that is easier said than done. The surrendering of the suffering, the surrendering of the story, the surrendering of the things that did or did not happen. And I'm having to sit with a really deep one. Probably one of my original trauma wounds is coming up for me these days, right now. And how to let go of the identification with it while working through how my body stored it is a really interesting dance, because I still have to navigate it. I still have to be with it. I still have to acknowledge it. And I still have to figure out how to process it through my body, because that's my body is telling me it's not letting it go. And yet moving beyond the identification of it, the story of it, the suffering of it. And how do we do that dance? So today is all about calling in the light, calling in our own light, seeing ourselves as the divine light that we are, and surrendering suffering for the sake of unity, letting go of the separateness so that we can be in oneness. And that's where bliss happens. That's where the complete acceptance happens. And a technique that I was taught by my own teacher, that I found really helpful when I've been trying to figure out how do I tether into that unity when I feel so separate. I was sitting at my altar this morning and looking at a picture of my ma and feeling so separate from her. And I hate when I feel that way, because she brings me so much love. And when I can't feel her, it's really hard for me. But I know that I can't feel her because there's something I am not allowing in. There's a separateness that I'm allowing to get in the way of that unity and of that love with her. And something that has helped is moving out of my own story, moving out of my own pain, my own trauma, and making it bigger than me, and connecting into the pain and the trauma of those around me. That this isn't just my suffering. These things didn't just happen to me. They've happened to many others. And can I tether into that? Can I do this for something bigger than myself? If I'm going to transmute this, can I transmute it for the bigger cause? And I have had experiences where when I actually shift away from me, from the self and my suffering, and I actually expand, because I can't just shift into light right now. That's just not a space that I am. But can I shift into the suffering of the greater world? Can I make it bigger than me? Because that also is oneness. When we shift into the suffering of the world, we are also in oneness. And there is an opportunity that within that oneness also comes bliss, that we can hold this expansive suffering and feel it and be with it and acknowledge it, and also at the same time, feel the bliss. Both can exist. They don't have to be separate. They can both exist at the same time. And so that's the Kali and Mahagauri. They can both exist at the same time. Our ego can get slayed while we experience bliss. We don't have to accomplish one before getting the other. It's the dance of the two together. And so today I will be providing you an audio link where you will be connecting in with your own divinity and doing a puja for yourself. So typically we do puja for deities, right? We do devotion, we provide light, and we provide incense, and we provide flowers, and sometimes food and water. And it's to really give thanks and ask for grace and be in complete honoring and devotion to these greater deities, these parts of ourselves that help us reflect our light. And so today you're going to do that for yourself. You're going to do puja on yourself as the deity, as the guru. So I will be providing you that guidance, and I hope you enjoy it. And there will be some reflection questions as usual afterwards to process and integrate. And yeah, I look forward to hearing how this all goes. So have a great one.